What's up, YouTube? We are here at CBC Fitness for a shoulder and tricep day. I'm currently just under 5 weeks out from my pro qualifier, and energy is dipping. Every time I do a video, it goes more and more down, but we still have to bring the intensity, and it's gonna be a great workout. So I'm gonna take you guys through this and show you some really good stuff that's helped me to build up my shoulders and my triceps over the years. My delts and my triceps are kind of two weaker body parts for me, so I've had to really attack them and hit them correctly. So that's what we're gonna do a lot in this workout. The workout volume itself is a little bit lower, you'll notice, but we're still gonna put a lot of intensity into what we're doing. So let's get in there and let's get after it. So the first thing we're gonna start with is obviously just getting loosened up, especially when you're training shoulders or chest or anything like that. Getting blood flow, especially throughout the whole delt, is really important. I usually use a band just like this, kind of do some pull aparts overhead, in front of me like this. And then the first exercise I like doing is always something for rear delts, because the same way I like doing like a fly motion on chest first, it helps to get the blood in there and kind of open things up and makes all the pressing afterwards easy. I only have one pressing movement in this workout, but I want to get in there and do the rear delts first. So that's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with the rear delt pec fly. So let's get after it. Now, for this, I am typically going to be only doing 1 to 2 warm-up sets per exercise, and I'm not taking it anywhere near close to failure because my energy is so low that I need to serve all of my energy for those working sets. So you'll notice I'm doing like 1 to 2 light warm-up sets per exercise, and that's it. Whenever you're doing these, you want to make sure that you're lined up. Your arms, your fist should actually be a little bit higher than your shoulders. And that way when you're driving it outward like that, and it's coming straight back, and you could squeeze really well in through the rear delt. For that last set, that last warm-up set I just did, I was seated a little too high and I could feel it. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. So backed off of it, but this is gonna be the first real set of the workout. So I'm gonna do 2 sets on here, and let me check my rep ranges. Another essential thing for training, phone goes on do not disturb, especially at this point of prep. But, so I'm gonna aim for somewhere in the 12 to 15 range for this first set. Second set will be the same thing, and I'm gonna do a drop set on that one. That was failure. That rep where you're going and it won't go, that's failure. That's what you're looking for on your top sets, always. So I think I'll stay with the same weight because that felt good. I'll try to hit that same rep range and then drop it off and hit some more reps after that. So if you guys find yourself in a deficit, you're cutting, you're trying to trim off body fat, whether you are prepping for a show or you're just trying to get lean in general, your strength's gonna come down. That's only natural. Whether you're enhanced or natural for that matter, you just gotta work with what your body's giving you. Don't try to go above and beyond it because that's how you hurt yourself. So my strength is definitely dipping now, and I am just gonna try to mitigate that as much as I possibly can. Now the thing is, there's only so much you can do when it comes to that. So you still gotta train hard. And I say this all the time, your muscles do not know how much weight is on the bar or on the machine or whatever. You just got to train hard, and that's all that matters. So let's get after it. Dropped it by about 40%. Good squeezes here. Do not rush through your drop sets. Squeeze them just as hard, if not harder. Oh man. All right. So now, energy's picking up a little bit now that we're in it. We're in it now. So we're gonna hit some cable laterals now and then move on to pressing. So let's go get after that. When it comes to delts, you gotta think, you want every part of that head hit. So you got your front head, your lateral head, and then that rear head, right? So I'm always trying to hit at least 2 movements per workout for the lateral head, because when you're looking at the cap of the delt, obviously that's gonna be the biggest component to it. So people oftentimes definitely hit enough of that and do not hit enough of the rear delts, because your front delt is always getting hit when you're doing things like bench press or any kind of pressing movement, flies, anything like that. But those rear delts get neglected a lot. That's why I like starting people on that. So a lot of my clients, I will start them with rear delt movements. I start myself with it because you're getting in fresh and you're training a body part that's usually not getting hit enough. So that's why I like approaching it like that. Now for these, I do like to lean a little bit and just come up and really squeeze. This feels really good actually. Just a warm-up set. I love it. Hope you guys could hear that on the video. Well, if you did, I'm probably getting demonetized, so that's the thing. All right, so that feels pretty good overall. You know, I talk about this a lot in these videos, but you know, the gym is really a place, in my opinion, as a breeding ground for the rest of your life to learn how to disconnect, you know, your feelings and the momentary things you're going through, whether it's the pain in the middle of the set, whether it's me driving here and fighting my brain on the way to the gym today about how tired I am and all the bullshit excuses that I want to give myself as to, wow, I don't really need to do this. Maybe I should call Jason, the camera guy, and tell him, let's shoot another day, right? Like, you learn how to fight through those moments, those times where you don't feel like you have enough in the tank. Because the thing is, you always do. You always do. It's your mind that will break first before anything. And that's true in all aspects of life. You know, there are people that can run 200-mile races and finish that. You know, there's people that are out there literally surviving on just a few kernels of rice a day. I'm probably exaggerating that, but you can always reframe your perspective on things. So as tired and hungry as I might be right now, it doesn't matter. I feel grateful for the ability to do this sport, to choose to be hungry and to starve myself and not be forced by life to do that. So it's very important to have that perspective. It's been a big perspective shift for me. All right, last of these warm-ups. Just a couple reps here. Just want to feel this weight. It feels good. Okay. Man, it's hot today. Jason, I know Jason's hot. He's got joggers on. Yeah, he's got joggers on. It's like 91 degrees outside. And the funniest part is we shot last week, not even a week ago, and it was what, like 50 degrees? Cold and raining. This is Pittsburgh. This is where we are right now. We're in Pittsburgh. This weather outside right now, I'm used to because I live half the year in Florida, so I was experiencing 91 degrees from like February through April or May before I came back up to Pittsburgh. But this is like the first super hot day I've had here, and I got very unused to that very quickly. So this is a long way of telling you that the pump cover's coming off very soon because I'm getting hot. Jason doesn't go down on me, guys. Don't dehydrate. All right.
I was going to say pause.
Yeah, pause. He's like, actually, I need to. Definitely too light. It's all right. Some high volume. Nothing wrong with that. Pump some blood in these lateral heads here. Now, you'll notice I'm letting the hand come completely back across and stretching that, and then coming back up through. Because I want that stretch and I want that contraction. That will build a lot more muscle than just, ripping through the movement. You don't want to do that. You definitely do not want to do that. So Jason and I were just talking off camera here about how I did an Aldi's grocery haul. I'll link that in the cards are here. You guys can go watch that. And there was this guy who, if you're watching, I'm talking about you, commented something about how this isn't a real bodybuilding, grocery haul because there's no milk. And I'm like, literally, my life is I coach people in bodybuilding, and I have tons of friends at all levels of bodybuilding, the lowest levels, the highest levels. I know people on the Olympia stage. And I literally don't know a single person that drinks milk, like literally not one person. And the guy's comment back to me, and I said that was, well, the guys back in the golden era, they used to do it. And it's like, well, yeah, Arnold literally used to take D-ball, this is a steroid, right, it's an oral steroid, wouldn't measure it, would just dump it in his hand and throw it in his mouth. We don't do that shit anymore. Just because somebody used to do something in the past is not optimal. Like, football is not played the same way in the 1970s as it is now. Baseball is a lot more evolved, right? Like, we learn better ways to do things. So don't get so fixed into like, this is the way it used to be, and that was the prime era, so I gotta do everything that they used to do. Science evolves, we know more things now. We don't train the way they used to. We don't eat the way they used to. We don't take PEDs the way they used to. We're a lot smarter about all that stuff. We get our blood work done. It's a lot of better things. So don't get too fixated on that kind of stuff because you will hold yourself back immensely. Welcome to the modern world. Speaking of training, time to rip this last set of this. That's better weight. Oh, there we go. Much better. All right. Now that I'm dead, let's go do the presses now. Perfect. Wait, come over here. Come over here. We're gonna get one of my favorite people, young one. How old are you?
20.
And what's your name?
Dylan Breeze.
All right. Dylan is an aspiring powerlifter. No, I'm just kidding. He's also a bodybuilder. But I helped Dylan with posing for a while last summer. Now he's been embracing the bulk and
Dylan's thick right now.
You're getting thick right now?
He's thick.
Yeah.
He's thick.
But this is a good point because in all sincerity, I told Dylan this when I was working with him last year, is especially when you're younger, if you guys are younger, you got to work on building your physique before you ever try to get shredded into a show or whatever, because what's going to happen is you're going to diet down and realize, I have no muscle. So you want to spend more time building. So I think you're doing the right thing right now by doing that.
Trying to get big.
Yeah. There's only one way to do it. So he's crushing it. You should have seen when I came in when they were lifting. They train hard. So don't underestimate that. Natural, enhanced, whatever. You got to train hard. That's the only way there is to do it. So that's the mantra, right?
Intensity is everything.
That's right. That's right. All right. Now I got to do a pump cover reveal. So let's do it. It's not bad. Little spider veins in the shoulders a bit. I could promise you no matter how I would look right now, I would still think I look terrible. So whatever I look like is what I look like. Pretty capped. We're doing all right. All right. Enough looking at myself. Let's go hit some shoulder presses. Really enjoy this specific press. This is a hammer strength. It's a little bit, kind of leans back. One of my other gyms has this as well. But we're going to see how this feels. Typically, what I've been doing for my presses is I'm doing like one top set and one back off. So we're going to work up and wait and try to find out where that top set is today, and then hit that back off set. Man, I'll tell you what, this feels so much better now, not having that shirt on. Yeah. I bet you wish you could do that with your pants. Yeah, Jason is wearing joggers, guys. So in 91-degree weather in this gym that I do not believe is air conditioned does not sound great to me right now, just personally. I already said this once earlier, and I'm gonna say it again. I don't care if you're prepping or whatever, do not waste your energy on your warm-up sets. Touch the weight, feel it, and get out of it. 5 to 6 reps, really all you need. Whew. That mirror, I look decent in that mirror. I don't know if I look like that on camera, but. You know what's really funny about bodybuilding? I don't know if you can relate to this, because Jason's competed before. But when you're still like kind of fat, like the fatter you are, and your pumps are still good, when you're training, you're like, oh, I look great, right? Then you actually start to look good, and you think you look terrible all the time. Am I right?
Yeah, and then you're also like, I think I look fat, you can't get a pump.
Yeah.
And then you look back and you're like, dude, I was so pumped.
Yeah.
I was not fat.
Yeah.
But you will never see that until you're fat.
Yeah. Yeah, and so literally last week, I sent this reel that we shot, what I shot with Jason, and I'm like, I was gonna post it on Instagram. I didn't, I'm posting it. But it was funny because I sent it to him, I'm like, hey man, like, I don't know if I have like really bad prep goggles on or not right now, but I feel like I look terrible in this. Like, please be honest with me. He was like, what are you talking about? Like, you look great. But that's what will happen to you. Your brain will get screwed up. Now, where it gets hard is because I am coaching myself right now. When I'm in the moment looking at myself, like during a workout, I try not to take my thoughts very seriously because your brain will lie to you 47 different ways. One day you'll feel like you're gonna be the next Mr. Olympia, and then the next day you're like, why do I even do this sport? And that can actually happen even 30 seconds between each other. That's happened to me. But objectively, when I'm taking check-in pictures and I'm measuring that's very easy for me to objectively look at. It's very hard in the moment to not get emotional with yourself. So,
I got something to say.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's pick you up, or do you want to use it?
No, I mean, it doesn't matter. Can you
Yeah.
stand right back there?
Yeah, yeah.
So the thing I was gonna say too that can mess you up is like you'll look at yourself in different lighting situations.
Yes.
And that's what bodybuilding's all about. Like
Yeah.
when you're on stage, you're on perfect lighting, you're gonna look your absolute best on
Yeah.
stage. You might catch yourself in bad lighting, and then all day, all you think about is how bad you actually look.
Yeah, I think there's such a natural tendency for the human brain, just the way we're wired to, we grasp onto the most negative shit possible, and that sticks with us, right? Like you could see yourself in the best lighting ever right now, and then I could walk outside and Jason catch me in a bad angle with the camera, and I'm like, I look terrible, right? In like the worst lighting ever. And that's what'll stick with me. And so you have to learn, and I've said this a million times, that this sport And I will go as far as to say most sports in life and most things in life are more mental than they are physical. Because I'm telling you right now, I golf too for fun. If you walk up to the ball and in your head you're like, I'm gonna hit a bad shot, and you're trying to like not believe that, you will hit a bad shot every time. The best golf's played when you're just walking up and you're not thinking about anything. You just rip the club out of the bag, swing, hit, you're fine, right? And this is a good analogy for bodybuilding, because this is why sometimes you have to not look at yourself, right? You got to come in the gym and just get after it. And sometimes, you know, you're going to end up finding yourself being like, I look like trash. And the reality is you might not look that great because you are flat. And when you're flat, you'll look deconditioned and you will look like shit. So that's kind of the thing. And you got to stay out of your head with that, because you got to get flat to get peeled. That's just the way it is. This feels pretty good today. We'll see what I work up to here. It's always fun to try to find the 45-pound plates, especially at a gym like this. Or at least they're metal, man. If we were at LA Fitness, it'd be some plastic BS. There's some carbs in here, some creatine, and pink Himalayan sea salt. That's especially key on a day like this where you're sweating a lot. Hydration has a lot more to do with your electrolyte balance and the actual fluid intake than just the fluid intake by itself. That's why you can drink water and drink water and drink water and drink water, and guess what happens? You just keep peeing and you're flushing the electrolytes out and you're dehydrated. So there's a lot more to hydration than just pounding water.
I got
Yeah.
a hot question that
Yeah.
spark you. You know those people who are like, I can't eat or drink salt because I'm gonna be bloated.
Yeah, so if you're getting bloated when you're eating or drinking salt, that's because you're not drinking enough water, right? So I don't want to give the exact science off the top of my head because I can guarantee you I will butcher it. But the problem that you'll see with people is, like, think about if you went to a buffet, like an Asian buffet, right? You ate a bunch of sushi or like a big hibachi meal and like some sushi and stuff. And then the next day you wake up and you're just puffy and bloated. Well, the problem's not the sodium. The problem is your lack of water intake with that. So you need to match, like if you're eating more sodium, you need to take in more water to match that, right? So they have a very synergistic effect with each other. So, you know, if you take in the salt and you don't take in the water, that's when you'll start seeing the problems like blood pressure increases and stuff like that, because then your blood volume's actually decreasing a bit. I might be saying that incorrectly. The bottom line is when you take in more sodium, you need to be taking in more water. So.
But sodium's not the enemy.
Sodium is not the enemy. Sodium is extremely important. I'll tell you what, a great example of that is my grandmother was just in the hospital. She was hospitalized because her sodium was too low. And in fact, she's fine now, but 50% of people that go in with the sodium where hers was do not live, right? So sodium is essential for your body. It's just that it's in relation, your electrolyte balance is just that, it's a balance of things. So that's why you don't just pound sodium or pound potassium or pound magnesium. You want all the combination of that. So that's a very dense topic, but like that's just kind of the gist and overview of it. So this is either gonna be a warm-up set or a real set, and I'm gonna be able to tell you in 2 seconds once I touch this weight. So if I don't stop, then you know it was a real set. Oh yeah, that's a set. Let's go. Come on. Thank you, Dylan or Brandon, whichever of you was screaming at me. That's the kind of fucking gym that I want right there. Woo, that was heavy. I could usually, in the off season, get 4 plates in this for like 12 reps. 3 felt brutal. So again, who cares about the weight? Just move the weight, whatever's on the bar. Jason, ask me how I feel right now.
How you feeling?
Terrible. But I'm still smiling. See, this is the thing, guys. You can always smile no matter what's going on, how you're feeling. In fact, it affects how you feel. One of the best books I ever read in my life, Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl. He was in the Holocaust, right? Viktor Frankl is a psychiatrist, I believe. And he talked about how one of the last things that you could strip of a human being is their ability to choose the perspective, right? So he knows there was people that were in the Holocaust that were choosing to be optimistic, that were choosing to be happy, despite the absolute worst situation you could find yourself in as a human being. And the thing I think about, like I was saying earlier, if those people can be happy and smile when they're going through that, then I sure as hell can do that right now when I'm choosing to put myself through this. So, I might feel terrible, but I love every minute of it. I do. I love every minute of it. So back offset. What we're gonna do here is people oftentimes think like back offsets need to be some different kind of thing, like you're not trying as hard. That's absolutely not true. All I look at a back offset as, I'm dropping the weight, whereas I was being a little bit more liberal with my form and intensity before. I'm gonna tighten it up just a little bit and hope to end up in that 12 to 15 range, but just doing a little bit slower negatives and just working the weight a little bit harder, okay? Let's go. Pause. Want a good pause at every one of these. A little less reps than I wanted, but it doesn't matter. That was a great set. Those dead stops probably trimmed off 3 to 4 reps. But the whole point of that is I'm just stopping the bottom, completely losing momentum, letting this delt wear that weight and bear that, and going right back up. So we are all done on this. We're gonna do dumbbell laterals. I feel skinny, guys, but that's good. That means I'm getting lean.
Nah, you look a lot tighter than you did last time.
That's the thing, like every day now, there's just so much change. And that's probably why I feel like I got hit by a fucking truck every day I get out of bed right now. I'm just like, oh, we get to go do everything we just did yesterday. But like I said, I love it. So what can you do? Dumbbell laterals. This is the last shoulder movement we're doing. And I should also tell you guys, to be clear, that I do shoulders twice a week. So if it seems like I'm not doing that much, it's because I also do them on Saturdays, where I do a shoulder and arm day. So I double up on hamstrings, shoulders, and arms. Those are my weakest links. Chest and back is not a problem for me at all. But yeah, I have to double up on that. And I'm always tracking the lifts. I tell you guys this every workout, but that's essential because I can really see if I'm losing strength. Like, you know, it's tough because last week I did not do that same press. I did a different press, which I did 5 plates on. And I obviously just did 3 on that. So this is a lot harder than that. Always got to make sure you get the right weights. Not two separate ones. How's here? Good? These shoulders are feeling fried. All right. So rather on these than take every single set to the absolute brink of failure, I prefer to do 4 sets where I'm just driving blood in there and chasing a little bit more of a pump on this. But a lot of this stuff, as you guys will notice, is a little bit higher volume. For shoulders, I find that's what my shoulders respond best to over the years. But you gotta play with stuff for yourself. Don't do what I'm doing exactly. You know, take this kind of training I'm showing you and try it yourself a little bit. You know, you don't have to just mirror what somebody else is doing. Remember, I've been training for 15 years, so I figured out for myself through a lot of different coaches and experimentation what works for me and what doesn't. That's from a diet perspective, from a nutrition perspective, I just said the same thing twice. From a training perspective, that's what I meant to say, nutrition and training. But you gotta experiment and figure out what works for you. Oh, that'll definitely be the heaviest I go on these. Not huge on going super heavy with dumbbell laterals like that. I think people go way too heavy. Like I've seen guys, they're a quarter of my size in here with 50s, just swinging them around. It's not doing anything, man. You gotta put the load on the muscle, whether you're doing a leg press or a dumbbell lateral. If you're focusing on hypertrophy, which is growing the muscle tissue, then you gotta hit the muscle correctly, plain and simple. It's always so sad when the intra-workout carbs are finished. And then I also remember that I have to do cardio after this. Right here. Oh. All right. So I lied. We're doing 3 sets of that because that's what my training had written up. The first one was supposed to be a warm-up. So we did 30, 20, 40, 15, 40, 15. Okay, on to triceps. First real set here. Looking for a 20 reps. All right, a little light for that. It's all right. We're gonna bump the weight up anyway. But if you guys notice, I'm really controlling those reps. You know, don't fly through it. Like I said, take that muscle to the stretched point and that full contraction. Spend time in both. That's how you put on muscle. I could feel myself during that last set, thinking about my next meal and how after that next meal I get to eat basically 0 carbs the rest of the day. My mind was starting to drift there. One thing I've really been doing a lot of is one of my good friends has a great quote that I love. Think about what you're thinking about. And I've been doing that a lot more. Basically, I just call that being mindful, right? Where are your thoughts going? What are you thinking about? Not just in the gym, but just everywhere in life, right? Out of bed in the morning. Things that really help me, meditation, breath work, and journaling all really help that a lot. To kind of just see where your mind is, where it goes, where it wanders to, and how to gain better control of that. Because I used to be somebody that was really bad with that. My mind would just run and run and run and run. Ruminating brain, which I definitely have a fair bit of, but I'm trying to get better at that. That's one of those things that I'm trying to work on a lot. All right, last set of this is gonna be a drop set, a little heavier on this one. I have the full stack on here now, so we'll see how this feels. Oh yeah, that's much better. Oof. Again, dropping about 40% off of that top load there. Really control these. One exercise left. Woo! We're gonna do reverse push downs. Single arm, and this is it. My friend's band, actually. Fit for a King. I'm friends with the guitarist. Dan. Good guy. Shouldn't say it's like my friend's band. I know him. Friends with him. He also has a great band called Phineas. If you guys love metalcore style stuff, Fit for a King and Phineas. Dan is in both those bands, and they're sweet. And my guitarist, CJ, in my band, yes, I'm actually a metalcore vocalist. I don't really talk about that on here a lot. My band's name's Tethra, but my guitarist, CJ, did a guest solo in one of the Phineas songs, and it's really, really sick. I think it was Holy Coward was the song's name. Okay. This is it, guys. 3 good sets on here, and then we're done. That is really light. There we go. Of the workout right here, this is it, boys and girls. Probably mostly boys. Ooh. All right, that's it. Let's go check the pump, or lack thereof, we'll find out. I definitely don't like how I look in the mirror right now, but we'll see what it looks like on camera. All right, guys, thank you so much for being a part of this video. I hope you took away some good training tips and some good mindset tips. I am absolutely fried, and you can find me right in that treadmill doing post-workout cardio. Don't neglect your cardio, and I will see you guys in the next video because I'm brain dead. But thanks so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.